Welcome everyone. Live stream here on TradingView by No Fomo Charts. Again, welcome to the first live stream here on TradingView by No Fomo Charts. I'm a technical analyst, full-time trader and investor, and I've been streaming on YouTube for over 1.5 years now, and now I'm going to stream here on TradingView. So if anybody has any stock or crypto ticker request for technical analysis, just let me know in the chat box. All right, let me type in the chat box before we start. Okay, just get this YouTube one set up before we get started here. So we're probably going to look at indexes, stocks, crypto, and commodities. Usually I look at those when I do a class for analysis. So all right, so let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to start out with the DJI, Dow Jones Industrial Average Index, DJI. All right, so where are we with the DJI? Let's start with a weekly chart. So I like to start with the longer term time frames and then move to shorter term time frames. All right, so first is, if we really want to, we could look at a monthly chart, right? So the monthly chart is intact, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? So it's in a monthly uptrend. Yes, that's confirmed. Weekly uptrend as well. High, low, high, low, high. Try to make a high, right? So we'll stop here and get our resistance and support levels up. What's happening is we're finding resistance in the Dow Jones at 35,694 US dollars as resistance. There's a support level down here, 33,288. Okay, psychological resistances above, you can see 38,000, 40,000 up above. All right, I'm putting a lot of support and resistance levels so that this stream, if somebody watches it later, the levels are still good. Hey, thanks so much for the comments. I'll look at BTC in just a moment. All right, so just finishing this up really quick, we have support down here and support here. So the problem with the Dow Jones right now, okay, and I have a chart idea of this up on my profile, if you want to check that out afterwards, is check this out on the weekly chart. Check this out on the weekly chart, all right? You see this kind of ascending wedge, upward sloping wedge pattern, right? Hitting the support. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, the fourth time, this is getting kind of suspicious up here in this blue area, right here. Because if we need to, excuse the alerts, if we need to, right, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, we need to make a higher high in the Dow Jones. We need to. If not, there could become a problem on this weekly chart and we pull back down to this level. All right, so just finishing up Dow Jones, the upside target, okay, on the weekly is we have to break up above 36,000. Okay, so that's a bull target. Bear target would be here, 33,000 down here. So we're playing between those two levels to maintain the uptrend on Dow Jones. All right, we have a request here from Maysam 007 requesting BTC. Let's look at BTC. All right, so sometimes I use the Bitstamp. Actually, let me use a different one because I don't want to erase my chart. So here we go. BTC, Bitcoin to USD. All right, let's zoom out for a second here, okay? Because I'll recreate the picture that I showed in my idea. Is this? We're on a weekly chart on the log scale. Weekly chart on the log scale, okay? We can draw. There are some large hidden trend lines here, all right? So there's this one right here. You see this one? The support, okay? Used to be resistance, now it's support. And there's also a larger trend line on on the top side. There's also a larger trend on the top side. So do you see this now, right? There's actually a multiple touch points, right? You have resistance on the top, resistance, you have support down here. Okay, we are in a weekly uptrend, just like my idea. Higher high, higher low, essentially, right? These two. Higher high, higher low, higher high. So the issue with Bitcoin is two scenarios, okay? Bullish scenario, if we're going up, okay, bulls going up, green, long, then we need to break the resistance of $62,393. Basically the all-time high of Bitcoin. We have to break through that here. It needs to do this, right? For bulls to maintain the uptrend. Okay, so the targets, like my idea, is 65,000, basically 65,000. Let me draw in gray. 65,000. Then just any psychological number, right? Like 70,000, 75,000, 80,000, right? 90,000, and 100,000 up there. These are resistances on the top side here. We have this intermediate support down here, $30,000 support. Let me zoom in so you can see, right? It held 6 times and we're rallying. The problem here is, again, the bull scenario is bulls need to keep pushing this up all the way as high as possible. Then possibly pull back down to test the top of this trend line and attempt another bull move, right? Just basically we have to go to this range up here over time in the next 3 years, 2-3 years, right? If not, the bear for red scenario would pull back. If this stops, right, and becomes a lower high in the price, if this stops here, we get rejected from this resistance. Let me change the color. Then we're probably going to see this happen, a downtrend with a retest of 30,000 and then ultimately down here, kind of like the COVID-19 crash into the bottom of support. All right, so those are the two scenarios. If we're going down, okay, that's probably what it's going to look like over time, right? It might look like this side over here. Let me put it in blue on this side. This could happen to us right now. That's a bear picture scenario, right? That could replay and retest here, that exact scenario. How long did that take in 2018-19? That was 1 year from the top to a relative bottom. 1 year. So from now, it could be 1 year. So we have to watch out. This spot in particular, right where we are right now, this blue spot, the question is it this blue spot, right? Is it just a lower high and we're going to get rejected and pull back down? Okay, so we have to be very careful. Just watch out for that in the market. So basically the two long-term targets, okay, if I have to make it very simple in just 2 numbers, all right, the only 2 numbers I'm really looking at right now, maybe 3 numbers, is 65,000 up here, 60,000, 65,000 on the top side, resistance. Bottom side support, 30,000 range dollars. And probably also the middle of that is 45,000. On the log scale, it doesn't look correct, but let me turn the log scale off. Basically, it looks like this in the price. So again, in conclusion, bullish scenario, the price has to do this. If we do not do that, Bitcoin's in trouble for now. Short term, in trouble. I'm talking about trading. Bull scenario. If we fail this rally and it tops out, then we're probably going to make a lower low and a lower high, and we're going back down to like 10,000, 20,000 range down here, like this. All right. So that's basically Bitcoin on the longer term scale. And Mesam, are you a trader or investor? Can you let me know in the chat box? Are you a day trader, or are you swing trader, or are you like an investor long term? Just let me know so I can make sure I'm talking about the right chart here for you. While I'm waiting for that, we zoom into a day. So now we're on the day chart. All right. You can see there are, if we pull up some indicators here, okay, we are, yes, there is the golden cross, and we are hanging, finding support above the 20 EMA. Yes, that is true. That is true. But also remember, in the larger picture, 30,000 was floating in the middle of this weekly, these two yellow trend lines, right? 4 hours. Okay, so you're more swing trader. Okay. So yes, thank you. Uh, we do have this daily up cross, the golden cross. So that's what is getting me really kind of interested again, right? Very interesting. You get this golden cross on the EMAs. All right, so 4 hours. 4 hours. Let me turn some of this off. Right. 4 hours. In terms of swing trading. All right. Zoom in. Okay, so what I would do is first get a support. Is there any support? Draw it backwards. There is support trend line here. Is there resistance trend line? Yes, there is. Kind of looking like that. Almost parallel channel, not quite. Okay, so the immediate topside target, let me zoom in a lot so you can see this. Immediate topside target would be right here on this upper trend line, like 54,000. The downside immediate target estimated looks like maybe the upper 48,000s. Okay, so that the bear target probably mid 55, 54,000. The lower side target 48. Okay, so also if we look to the left, I don't know why there's so many lines. I gotta fix that later, but basically just watch out for your resistance and support levels. So resistance is 60,000. Again, here, this whole block, this giant price chunk of data on the left side, that's all resistance right now. But are we in the 4 hour uptrend? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And that started from about the end of July into August, meaning this higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. That's what the bulls are trying to do right now, trying to get this higher high in the price. And it looks like 55,000, 60,000 is on the table. It just, we need kind of larger volume, right? And we have this kind of ascending parallel channel basically. So really, really short-term intermediate would be riding that middle trend line on the inside. Okay. So if I zoom in a lot for swing trading, okay, we'll bring up an EMA. Yes, EMA's up crossed. Okay, EMA's up cross. Okay, EMA up cross. Boom. Higher high, high low, high low, high. Right? It's just at this point in time, okay, let me open up the RSI and the MACD. Right? These are common indicators. Right? Just getting barely into that oversold range. Yes. A little bit of bearish MACD divergence happening here on the bottom side. All right, if I go into the 1 hour chart, get a little bit more information because Asia market just is about to open in 5 minutes, right? So it's still in the uptrend, right? Higher high, low, high, low, high. How high can we go though? There is a little bit of bearish MACD divergence and bearish RSI divergence on the 1 hour. So we just want to be a little aware of that. Okay, if we zoom in a little further into the 15 minutes, just barely up crossed here. RSI oversold, but we know crypto, it could keep pumping, right, a little bit. Well, not pumping, but it could keep rallying. That's the wrong word. It could keep rallying. High, low, high. So I wouldn't be surprised if, maybe sometime tonight we might pull back once and then try to continue the rally up slowly over time. But let's not forget the bigger picture, okay, of the daily uptrend is still intact, right? EMA is golden cross. So that's why now it's up to the bulls to prove, are we going to break through 55,000, 60,000, 65,000? Okay, so I hope that explained the Bitcoin chart. And we could come back to it as well, but we have another request. So next request we got from Pa Luna token mechanics. All right, okay. Go ahead and let me know, Papo, what time frame you're kind of trading, if you're like a day trader or a swing trader or a long-term investor, so I'm talking about the right chart. Otherwise, I'll just go from the longest to the shortest time frame. All right, so let's see. I'll use Luna USDT on the Binance chart. All right, so let me start from monthly chart. All right, so according to this chart on the Binance, Luna is at possible all-time highs. Let me check a different chart here. Luna. So it looks like basically on some of the exchanges, it's at the all-time highs. Swing and long term. Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll start on the monthly chart. So we just need to realize that Luna's at all-time highs right now, essentially, right? 32, 36, 32 US dollars. And the issue here that I'm seeing is it did have a little bit of overextended move and it pulled back and now it's up. Basically tracking the life cycle of Bitcoin, right? We had the huge Bitcoin rally and then the Bitcoin pullback down to 30,000 and then essentially the recovery. So in this case, I would probably use Fib extensions, right? Fibonacci extensions. I'm on log scale, by the way. So this is what the chart really looks like normally. So we just hit that. It's kind of hard to see, but we hit the 1272 Fibonacci. And, right, so usually sometimes if it's really hot crypto with good fundamentals and technical momentum, it might try to retest the 1618. So the 1618 up here on the top side target. So $40 is probably the upside target. Just using Fibonacci as a forecasting tool. $48.27, probably $50 psychological, and then 60 bucks. So that looks like that could be in the cards, but then watch out for the downside, right? The bearish scenario, $25, $26, $21 could be that support level. And then this support down here, 18, okay? So I'm going to leave that there. We could also use Fibonacci retracement just in case if we get a downside bear target, right? 50% retrace is 1855. 618 retrace is 1366. So these levels all in the gray, right? So let me actually put it in color so it makes sense. These are all the upside bull resistance targets on the top, right? And then the all of this down here is support, right? But the main big ones is like that 50% retrace down here, 618, and then the upper 618, 1618, and the further bull targets to the top. So that's what I would be watching out for. Going into weekly, yes, this is a nice deep retrace here in May 2021, and then the extension. Now on the weekly chart, yes, if we're using, RSI MACD, it is a little bit oversold, and then there is actually technically bearish divergence on the Luna 1 week chart. I would watch this very carefully, this resistance right here at 34.35, because just like Bitcoin, it needs to break up to higher highs and hold and stay up there, right? So higher high, higher low, higher high. Where's the higher low going to be on this weekly? Anything above $22 could be a higher low on the weekly, and still it can maintain an uptrend in a bull case. If not, you could pull down here, make a lower low, and then crash back down to the 50% 618 retraces, right? Based upon this RSI bearish divergence. So really, Luna is more tracking Bitcoin. I would watch out for that. Whatever Bitcoin's going to do. If Bitcoin crashes hard, we know Luna's going to pull back. It's going to take a hit down. So I would watch out for that. Last thing I look at on the daily. Okay, it's already starting to lose this momentum a little bit on the RSI. This a little bit. I'm not talking about like 5 10, or 10 years from now. I'm just talking about like in the next like 1 or 2 weeks in terms of swing trading. So we just kind of want to watch out for this, right? Losing a little bit of momentum, right? This MACD already down crossed here, the EMAs. Moving a little bit more inside. This last thing we'll talk about is, yeah, so it has been uptrending on the EMAs, but if we don't break above this 35, I would probably look out for this bear pullback here. Yeah, 1 hour 4 chart's a little choppy, but the EMAs have not down crossed yet. So it just really depends right here. Are we going to get one last bull push? Right? Because on a weekly, I was also seeing some kind of potential Elliott wave pattern setting up. Right? So if this is Elliott wave, where's my Elliott wave? One, two, big three, maybe a four. There might be a four in here somewhere, right? Fourth wave. Maybe one more fifth wave, maybe. But holding through, if this Elliott wave pattern does play out, it's going to be kind of painful to hold that down through there, right? Because on a weekly, you have two candles on a hanging man style right here. You see these two, right? Essentially confirming there's a resistance right here at 36. Also, that move from down here to the top is a huge 700% insanity, right? So just want to watch out for that. Let me bring up one last tool and we'll move on. Let's see. Let's get some Bollinger Bands up here because it looks like a little overextended. Not quite sticking out, but you can see the psychology there of, right? The Bollinger Band on the weekly, boom, boom. 2 times it poked out. The third time it poked out. So it looks like it might be rounding off and trying to find a support level. That's what it looks like visually. Okay, so hope that helped. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, so yes. If it's going to pull back, let me do one last picture. Okay, so bull targets would be like above 40 to 50. But bear targets, if it does pull back, this is getting kind of sloppy now. Like 26 would be the first order. Okay, let me really draw. Like 26 on the downside, 21, 16. Those three. So 26, 21, and 16. And if it goes super deep, right? If you look in the past, it retraced down negative 80% from the all-time high. Negative 80% would be 7. That's deep value right there for Luna relatively to where we are. So 20, 21, 16, $8 would be that levels. Oh, this is cool. Thank you. All right. So if you guys have more questions, feel free to ask. Um, it's just a user created show, but I do have to do the indexes at some point. Um, so we just did, what did we do? We did Dow Jones, Bitcoin, Luna. Let's do XRP. XRP. The first thing about XRP, and this is Mickey's request here. First thing about XRP, and I'm going to presume we're all in the US here, basing on USD. So we could use, this is a long-term chart. We might not be in the US, right? XRP, first off, is the that whole lawsuit problem that happened with XRP, right, in the this year. So if you haven't read up on that, that really happened. So XRP basically, there's like a SEC lawsuit in terms of is it security versus you know crypto or asset, and it basically got kicked off the major exchanges. So Binance USA, there's no more XRP to be traded. So that took a huge hit at some point with XRP. Okay, you saw here and here. Okay, but that aside, okay, XRP is still alive. It didn't totally die as a crypto, and it's still rallied. Okay, so long-term investment. And again, this is not like pure financial advice, everybody. It's just education at first, right? It's just education. So this is just my own opinion. This is what I would think about if I'm talking about XRP. XRP, I would be like, okay, first, are there any problems? There's that lawsuit, number one. Number two is what kind of token is it, coin, and like what does it actually do? Use case. Number three is, okay, like fundamentals. Then number three is, okay, what do the technicals look like? So on this stream, we'll just focus on technicals. Going back to a monthly, we have to look at a log scale because it's insane price action from, I remember XRP when it was like super cheap. And Let's get some resistance levels going on here. Resistance right here, $2, whole number essentially. Immediate support, 70 cents, 27 cents, 17 cents, 4 cents. Okay, I'm putting a whole bunch just for people they have levels. All right, so what happened is we had this deep retrace, negative 90% retrace. I remember XRP when it was way up here, okay? Crashed down, right? Then the bull market altcoin spring recovery, okay? It is still in a monthly uptrend. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So seeking to find, retest the higher high levels up here, like $2. $2. So the problem though is also, could this be a cup and handle? Maybe. It's not textbook looking, but we have to retrace pretty significantly for that to happen. It could take many years for that to happen. But the immediate levels I'll be kind of concerned about is, well, are we going to break and try and test $2? Or are we falling back down to 70 cents? That's the big resistance and support levels on the top and the bottom. Zooming into a weekly, we can see a trend line on the bottom side. Just draw it and zoom it in as such. Yeah, so definitely the TA is confirming it really wants to try to target the $2 spot. If not, probably pull back down to $1 psychological first, right there at the support level. Okay, so resistance on top, right there, and then the support right here. Again, zooming out and thinking about Bitcoin, if Bitcoin crashes down, okay, if Bitcoin crashes down back to 30,000, all the altcoins are most likely going to pull back down with it. So we cannot ignore Bitcoin. So I don't know what time you came into the stream, but Bitcoin has to try to break and retest and go up above $60,000 this year. If not, this rally is probably going to stop at some point, even for XRP, all the altcoins, right? I could see this try to test $2, maybe struggle up here. So in a really good bull case, we could do this, right? In a really weak bear case, we'll test it, reject. We have a monthly long-term double top and then pull back down significantly. We know altcoins like to pull back down if it happens. Let's pretend I'm Fibonacci from the $2 range. Right, that 50%, 618, $1.10, 87 cents. Okay. We just have to remember that XRP is, how will it get kind of reinstated into like by the US government and back on exchanges? That's going to be kind of a problem, because for me it's like stocks. If something gets delisted, it's kind of bad basically for the stock and for the coin, for the company. So XRP, who knows, maybe they're going to make an underdog recovery, but they already got kicked off the exchanges, so there could be a problem there. So most of this is foreign people buying, like non-US people, because you can't really trade XRP easily on the US exchanges right now. So that would be my analysis on XRP. You just want to be careful of that. There's other cryptos out there. And before we go into more crypto, let's talk about S&P 500. So Mickey, I hope that answered your question and gave you some ideas to think about, like educational ideas to think about, ideas, right? So let's look at the stock market, because we just started September. Okay, and I wrote this idea last night. I really think about this. I know there's a lot of lines, but let me just explain this a little bit more. So after the pandemic crash, right? This COVID-19 right here, Corona-19, and we crashed. Federal Reserve fiscal stimulus saved us, right? And we've been making higher highs and higher lows on the daily, weekly this whole time until now. The problem is right now is on a short term, on a like a more swing trader term, we're just riding this upper trend line resistance on the top here, right here. Let me draw in the blue. This is our trend line support. Excuse me. This is our trend line resistance diagonal line on the top. We're just riding that, riding it. And so I wouldn't be surprised if what's going on in the market right now is we pull back down to a trend line support. There we go. Turn the log scale off so the lines fit. Right? I wouldn't be surprised. Anything above, because if you look here, it's support, 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 support. The next support would be somewhere in this range if we pull back down. So that's something like $443, right? That would be a pretty strong pullback for S&P, negative 3%. That would be on news headlines. We'll be talking all about that. So anything above 435, this last yellow line here, is a weekly higher low, meaning that the uptrend will stay intact. Let me draw that. Yes. Higher high, higher low, higher high. Higher low on the price, higher high, 1 day higher low, higher high. So now it's the S&P 500 is trying to figure out how high is it going to go, how many bulls can buy before we top out. So bull case, in my idea, I was saying that we could break up above this, retest, and continue up. That's bull case up here. If not, we could pull back to support all the way down here. But still, anything above that 435 can be the support down here. And we could still bounce over time in the next 1 to 2 years. Right? So we would need something extremely bad to happen for us to lose the uptrend. Right? Because we just think about what happened with the pandemic. That was extreme, and that affected everybody in the whole single world basically at the same time. Right? Like economic wise and physically. So, right? We would need something extremely bad for that to happen again for us to just completely lose the uptrend, right? But, there's been talk about Federal Reserve tapering and, potential housing market shock, right, this month, and unemployment, benefits having problems, labor shortages. We had that jobs report on Friday in the stock market. So there's a bunch of bearish news on the table, right? But if we just use technical analysis, we just know we draw our first foot line in the sand right here. Anything above 435, we're okay. Right? Boom. And then I'm expecting that to happen. In a bull case. Bear case, though, always got to be prepared. If that happens, we fail and we retest here, but we fail, then we're going to go down and a downtrend will ensue. So we just want to watch out for that on S&P 500. All right. It seems like a lot of people like crypto, so let's make this do a little more crypto. I can go over more crypto. So using a lot of Binance charts. Here's one chart that maybe people don't really look at is the Bitcoin futures chart. So Bitcoin futures, oops, okay, oh, my alarm's going crazy. All right, so Bitcoin futures is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, right? This is what the Chicago traders are trading this on Bitcoin futures, right? So sometimes you can find some hidden clues on the futures chart. So let's check this out. I'm going to turn on log scale. And there is that, what I'm seeing right here is there is this lowered, really, really steep extended trend line. There's also one here like that. There's also one, let's just get some of our constraints on here. And we'll look at it on a monthly. So is Bitcoin making a monthly uptrend? In my opinion, yes, because higher high, higher low, higher high. This turned out to be a higher low, the 28,000 range. We got saved by the bulls. And it was basically also technically oversold, right? And then higher high, potentially, question mark, right? So it's really the question. And I don't know what time you guys came in, but basically this is our big resistance, 65,000. Our intermediate support, 30,000. Then 12,000 if you want just like big numbers. Then 6,000. Then 3,000, right? Support. Okay, big Resistances on top, 85,000, 100,000. Okay, because if you think about it, if Bitcoin is going to go to 100,000, we just basically need a 50%, I mean, excuse me, 100% on Bitcoin. But we have to think about it. That means that a lot of people in the world have to buy, or hedge funds have to buy, or Wall Street has to buy, institutions. But basically, everybody just needs to buy, right, over the next like year. So if that happens, then for sure, I mean, not 100%, but probably greater than 50%, we're probably going to retest this 65 and go up here. But knowing Bitcoin, there's always some kind of relative top. Do you know what I mean? Like the relative top back here in the old days, well, before futures trading was started, was 20,000 basically, right? It started right there. That was the relative top, the first 20,000. Then we pulled back. Then we made another rally to 15,000. And I remember this was a presidential tweet that destroyed the market right here, saying Bitcoin was bad and such. Then the market got real spooked. Everyone sold off there. Then we got the pandemic to establish the low in Bitcoin price. And now we have another relative high. So it's make it or break it time for Bitcoin. Can we break 65,000, hold above it, maintain the uptrend? If not, it's going to be a lower low, and we're going to do this. So knowing that context on Bitcoin, if Bitcoin keeps going up, altcoin prices are probably going to go up. If we pull back down on Bitcoin, altcoin prices are probably going to crash. Yes, it'll bounce around because you have day traders and such, but we just need to. I want to set up that framework before we go into altcoins. All right, so let's go to Ethereum. Now on the Binance chart, you don't really get a lot of data because Binance US is it's like 2 years old. So maybe I'll use an older one. Maybe it's like Bitstamp. See, there's way more price data on older charts. So I like to go back years, not just 1 year. So Ethereum. Okay, I like to start long term. Is Ethereum in a monthly uptrend? My opinion, yes. Higher highs, higher low. HH, HL in the HH range right now. Just broke above 1,000. I mean, not just, but broke above 1,420. Held above it this entire year and continuing to the top side. There's also a nice double bottom here. This is like an insane setup. Monthly double bottom on Ethereum. That's beautiful. 100%. And we actually went 10x. Sounds like crypto. So there is a hidden trend line here though. So we can draw this, right? So we established 2 points on the support on the downside. The top side is a little trickier because we didn't really do that yet. So this could be interesting to interpret, right? It's like, wait a second, did we just break above the resistance trend line on $3,000 psychological? Possibly. But also, what I'm seeing is there could be some problem here with the Elliott wave, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, that last one was a little off. 3, 4, 5, right? So maybe we'll get a little bit of a rally to the 4,000s, maybe 5,000, maybe even a little bit higher than that eventually, right? But that would signal to me some kind of potential exhaustion up here on the side, on the top end. Also, the volume is getting smaller over time on the monthly. That's another clue. Let's go to weekly. See, we can kind of see this RSI bearish divergence forming, right? If this is angling up the Ethereum price, right, and we're losing momentum on the weekly, that is enough even for me to be like, okay, a pullback could happen. Just we need that climax top on Ethereum. Get some EMAs up here. Yes, we're still in the weekly uptrend. You see that golden cross even on a weekly. So it's not over for the bulls yet, but just double topping at that 4,000 range could be a problem for Ethereum bulls. Going into a day chart, even the day chart is showing bearish divergence on the RSI. Okay, and we're double topping on the price. That's like two indications that there could be a potential problem on Ethereum. I'm talking about this right here. And then I'm talking about this. right? So there's just multiple potential warning signs that there might be, it's not a full crash, but a pullback might be ensuing for Ethereum. And the way to confirm that, I use multi-time frame analysis. So we just turn off everything and zoom in. I got to get rid of these lines next stream, but the session lines. But even the 4-hour double topped here and it's losing a little bit of momentum. That doesn't mean we're going to crash completely. We might get an RSI reset for the bots, right? In terms of the bots resetting. But yeah, it's a little mixed. So in the short term, you might see a little bounce, but in longer term, we might see a pullback. That's what Ethereum looks like to me. Because when you get this, right, bots are just like set up in their algorithms to react to this. Double top and this. So I'm going to watch out for that. But targets before I close, 4,500 would probably be that topside bull target, like 4,500, 5,000 bull targets. And downside targets right down to the support, 3,300, 3,000. All right, so these gray areas, resistance, support, and a big support down here. All right, so hopefully that helps somebody understand Ethereum in the context of the crypto market. Just go down really quick. I'll try to do these faster. Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash, kind of a hidden coin. A lot of people, don't get hyped about Cash anymore as the old days. But I probably have to pull up a Coinbase chart. Yeah. So you get Coinbase here on this chart, at least a couple years of data, right? So you see the crash into the recovery. So let me start with the weekly. I'll start with the weekly. There's not much data here. Start with the weekly. Bitcoin Cash. Okay, so resistances first. 1,445,000, right? 3,000. Immediate support. 717, 432. Okay, so I'll just play those levels right now. Is there a trend line? To me, yes, there is. And there we can close it off on the top side here. So now we have some kind of, on this chart at least, looks like a weekly symmetrical triangle to me. And it's on a log scale. So, right, tightening range. So right now it's right in the middle of the triangle, Bitcoin Cash. So again, if Bitcoin goes up, I'm presuming probably this is going to go retest upper 1,000. That's the target, psychological target, 1,000. Bull target number 1. Bull target number 2 up here, 1,500. Mega target, 3,000. Okay, the support's on the downside. Immediate, like right underneath is 726. We might lose that, and 500 probably. There's also 600 in there, but you guys get what I'm talking about of these types of supports. Little pattern we might want to watch out for is maybe this head and shoulders might happen, right? This could be bad. Okay, this whole price action just looks like it's copying Bitcoin exactly, right? It just pull back and then and bounce up. So we just want to watch out for that. Yes, there's a little bit of momentum building on the weekly, and we did have that pullback, and the higher high, higher low uptrend is still intact on Bitcoin Cash. EMAs look good. We also have a golden cross on the daily. So again, it's up to the bulls to prove how high can we go. How high can we go on in the rally? It's almost like Jenga, the game. That's what it feels like. All right, next coin, Binance Coin, BNB. If you guys have more requests for stocks or crypto, like go ahead and just type in the chat. Let me check. How long did I go for? 45? All right, maybe I'll go for like 15 more minutes, okay? Maybe I'll go for 15 more minutes. Let me do one more crypto. I'll do BNB. Binance Coin, because Binance is a real exchange. All right. Binance Coin. So right here, we're looking at, what are we looking at? Binance on its insane run up. Okay, so what I would do is first off, because the trend is so steep, is like, let's just get resistance and support levels going on here. So $667 in terms of resistance. Immediate support, 398, 291, 208, right? Another topside target would be like 800, just psychological, and then 1,000 back up here. Will Binance coin ever crash back down to $10? Maybe, but the entire market has to crash way, way down, right? So we got trend lines. I'm on a log chart again. So let's get these connected here. We get a steep trend line on the bottom, right? Multiple touch points right there. Then we can also, this used to be there, right? Why did Binance coin break out? Because of this. It's a perfect upward sloping wedge pattern. Just high, high, low, breakout. You see this like very retest, it's hammers, right? Support on the sticks, on the wicks on the bottom right there on the blue. Can you guys see that? Yeah. And then the explosive rally, the hype. Okay, and this is what I mean. You at some point you get exhaustion in the market. Look at the volume too; it's sloping down while the price is angling up. So at some point we might see a little bit of exhaustion on Binance. But the good thing is this head and shoulder pattern failed. That would have been really bad, right? So again, just looks like Bitcoin copy in terms of whatever I said for Bitcoin applies for Binance coin as well. Because this recent price action in the past 6 months looks exactly the same. Everything is copying Bitcoin at this point. Not everything, but almost everything is copying Bitcoin at this point. So bulls, that's a question. Where are the bulls right now? Where are the bulls? So there's an example setup right here. And we can also measure this too. It'd be interesting. 256%. It went 12x. It went 1,000%. It's absolutely beautiful technical analysis setup. From top to bottom, it's 437. So we went 3 times the target, basically 5 times the target. Just absolute insanity. All right. So I think I'll slow down here for the crypto. And one thing I didn't do is maybe commodities. Okay. So we did just recap. We did Dow Jones, S&P 500, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then some altcoins. Now let's just end on gold and oil, right? Because there's a relationship between stock market, crypto, gold, and oil. So to make it easy, I'll use the Oanda Forex gold chart. So we're looking at gold USD. Okay, gold USD on start with the monthly chart so we get our bearings, our focus. I'm on a log scale so I could see everything a little easier in terms of big moves. Gold, I don't really need it, but okay, so I'll turn it off because we're not looking at crypto anymore. So I'm looking at this right here. Trend line on the bottom side, very powerful. Trend line on the top side, also powerful. Only 2 touch points on the top side. And we have horizontal resistance here at basically $2,000. And then another resistance short term right above where we are now, 1,833. We have a support down here at 1,700 as well. How does the log scale help? Okay, so the log scale stands for logarithmic, and it's useful when you have a chart that has very large, explosive, exponential moves. Perfect example is Bitcoin. So here, I'll go back to a Bitcoin chart on the Bitstamp. Right, let's turn. Actually, not my Bitstamp chart. Let's go to Bitfinex. Okay, and then we'll go a daily or a monthly, and turn everything off. Okay, this is the regular chart. I'll turn everything off. We'll just look at the line chart on the price, right? You cannot really see this when Bitcoin was like $10 or $100. It looks like just flat. You see this on the left side? So then when you turn the log scale on, and you can look in the FAQ, right? There's a definition of how it helps. You see that log scale, and then when I zoom in, every price move is more equal, right? So I couldn't see this 243 over here and this like $100 and $1,000. Like if I turn it off, see that it shrinks down and I can't see it anymore. So then people would all just like, if you just look at this chart like this, it's kind of hard to draw trend lines and resistance and support for a long-term chart. So that's what I discovered for myself is if you see something with very explosive moves like dollar to 10 to 100 to 1,000, like a Tesla or Bitcoin, I would use a log scale chart, and then you can see all the moves equally. And this is how, it helps me to get real accurate trend lines, that actually like this, right? Because if this is how I made my idea last night on the weekly. Okay. So if I turn the log scale off, it breaks, and then that particular set of analysis like doesn't work anymore. So it depends. If you're gonna stay on log scale, you kind of have to stay on log scale to like get your drawings and maybe take a picture of it. But log scale is meant for exponential moves, so you can visually see it better. Not everything needs log scale. Like if you go to what's something, um, if you go to S&P 500, you don't really need log scale. You see that? Like if I toggle it on and off, it's not a huge deal. But if you go to like a Tesla, log scale definitely does help. Log scale off, log scale on, off, on. So I would, like if I'm charting Tesla, I would do log scale on basically. And then you could see this whole middle part is that resistance zone, right? But let me go back and finish gold before we end. All right. So weekly, I'm on gold spot, US dollar, ON the chart, weekly chart, and my drawings got erased. So let's do it one more time. We got this trend line on the bottom on the weekly. Yes, right there. And then we have we have sometimes it doesn't work. There we go. The trend line on the top. And here we are with gold, right? You get at least 2 touch points on the top and bottom of your trend lines, and that's the bare minimum requirement. Now we see that, talk about resistance, support, and then we'll talk about trend. So again, $2,000 resistance, 2,500 is the next bull target. Support down here, 1702 and 1,500 are probably the immediate longer term resistance and support levels. Now, before we jump into indicators, right, you could just do some basic price analysis. The weekly chart. On the weekly chart, are we uptrending or downtrending in the short period of time? Currently, we're actually mixed, right? It's high, low, high. We were uptrending for 2 years, 2019 to 2020. Then we had a reversal mid 2020, like a year ago, into a downtrend, right? And it looks like gold is trying to maintain a possible trend reversal. Also, there could be this baby upside down head and shoulders right here pattern. We can measure that to get our bull target. 12% from the breakout would bring us to 2146 approximately, right? But if it fails and we lose that, it could also go down by that much. So negative 12 would bring us back down to 1534 over time. So I'll draw the two targets. This is the bull target up here in the blue on the top, and this is the bear target down here on the bottom. Basically easy numbers, 2,000 or 1,500 for easy numbers, right? You could also kind of scoot this in like this. One could also make the argument that if this head and shoulders pattern fails, the immediate support would be 1,700 right here, in terms of it's still a descending triangle pattern. So what if this head and shoulders is true, then what needs to happen with gold is higher high, higher low, break out the pattern, maybe not that high, but break out the pattern, retest it as support, and then go to the $2,000 target on the top side, right? So that would be the bull case scenario. If that doesn't happen with gold, it would go boom right here. If this fails, maybe double bottom, but then tighten the equilibrium pattern, and that could happen over time, right? Because this is still downward sloping, right? So if we don't break out of that, that's bad. So we want to watch out for that on gold. The good thing is, though, is we're holding support at $1,700 4 or 5 times, so it's very nice. on the daily chart for like swing trading. You know, we had this double bottom. This is beautiful, nice double bottom play. Then we hit the top with that trend line, just easy. You know, this is like textbook trading, right? If somebody knows what they're doing with the charts, right? So gold, right? And then again here, it's like, well, okay, we flash crashed. I remember this. It's like, whoa, flash crash on a gold spot, but it's not surprising because we had lower low, lower high, and then lower low is in the cards, right? On the table, and then hit that support level, and then we're bouncing. So we're stuck at this immediate resistance level. The top side immediate target would be 1861 right there. And then the bulls need some proving to do. Okay, let's go to US oil. I'm gonna use the ETF. Go to the ETF. And again, if you have any questions or requests, please feel free to ask in the chat box. I'm more than happy to answer questions, help out, do some charts. All right, so I know we didn't do a lot of charts, but we'll do more in the next stream. So US oil, why does this matter? Well, US oil is a commodity. This is the ETF, US oil fund. Let me change this watch list. It's the US oil fund. And it has a relationship, right? Because, you know, when the pandemic crash started, oil crashed hard. The futures went absolutely insane, and you can't see it on this chart, but it actually went to negative number. It went below zero. I still remember that day. It's the worst day of U.S. oil futures trading in history of stock trading. But on this weekly chart, you can see higher high, higher low. Right? We could draw the trend line. And are we in an uptrend? Answer is yes. Answer is yes. Okay, we'll check out that chart in a minute here. Just finish this one. Boom, right here. Right, you get these on US oil. Now you have some constraints. Then the horizontal resistance and support. Resistance, basically $52, $52, $43.24, $40 support. We have a large gap resistance here, so $60 will be the upside topside target. Now the question remains, will the stock market hold up and will oil hold up? Okay, so it's right here. It's actually higher low balance, $43. That's fine. Actually, we don't need to get scared about that. But the question is, make or break time for oil. Bulls need to push this above, break through 50, 55, 60, and hold above there, like this, to maintain that uptrend. Right? If not, this could turn to a lower high or a double top and we can get rejected down. And then we have some problem in US oil. So right now it's very, very still healthy, but mixed. It's right in the middle. And this actually reminds me of the Bitcoin chart. Let me zoom in a little more. People are looking at this, right? And I don't think people realize how much correlation there is between Bitcoin, US oil, gold, and S&P 500. Because this looks very similar to the Bitcoin pullback, right? With that topping out. Imagine this, like Bitcoin topping out, pull back down to a previous support level, and it bounce up. That's exactly what happened with Bitcoin. So there is a relationship here. Looks almost the same. So just need to watch out for that. So again, in conclusion, bullish target on US oil would be anywhere in this range, $50 to $60 up here, and then support down here from 40 to like $35. Okie dokie. So on currently consolidating, but again, it's about to make its move. Eventually hit that low RSI oversold, double bottom, MACD. And yeah, trying to up cross. It's still in a golden cross, right? It's just really, really trying to hold on the day chart for oil. All right, so let's move on. We have a DOYU chart. DOYU. Okay. For stocks, DOYU. All right, so what I would do first thing is I'm looking at, actually, I guess I did look at this chart one time. Let's pretend I did it, right? Let's say that I sell this right now. We're looking at monthly. First thing I'm noticing is it a downtrend? It is, right? Almost. Lower low, lower high, lower low. The big thing that I'm seeing is the monthly hammer right there, monthly hammer candle. Very suspicious. Very suspicious to me. But again, this is an international company, so there are other factors besides just the S&P 500 and the U.S. government that will affect this stock. So there's overseas companies, so you want to watch out. There's other, reasons why this stock could go down. Yes, yeah, the gaming company, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So thank you for reminding me of that. So basically, right, I'm just saying just because there's a monthly candle might not be the only reason to go long on this stock, right? In my opinion. So just want to watch out. But if we trust in the charts, which usually we should do, right? If we trust in the charts, okay, let's get our resistance and support levels. The first resistance target would be 624, then 848, $10, 14, 17, 20. Right? And then the bottom supports is 372, 286, probably $2 and like $1 something. I mean, at the worst case scenario, we know some of these companies can go down to like 10 cents or 5 cent, not 10 cents, but 5 cents, 20. You know what I'm talking about, right? It could just crash all the way down below sub $1. So we have to be careful for that. But at the same time, if it's gonna bounce, if the Chinese gaming company industry and government FUD is over, excuse me, if it's over, we might get a rally here, right? Possible. But we just started the month, right? So there's not much data on monthly, so let's just move on from that. Weekly. Okay, yeah. The shorts closing, right? Yeah, you got a monthly oversold, right? MACD bullish divergence, excuse me, a MACD bullish divergence. So we're building a case here now, right? We're building a case here now. This is oversold as well. Okay. Now the question remains is, okay, if this is going to be like a Reddit meme stock pump in terms of short squeeze, right? This needs to short squeeze all the way up to $6. We need to really put some pressure on the bears and do this. But if it's going to be a legitimate trend change, okay, legit trend change on the price, then this needs to go higher high and then probably pull back halfway to $4 and maybe try to do this over time in the next like couple years, right? But this could be an interesting short squeeze or a bullish divergence play. Very interesting on DOYU. And we could have our EMAs as targets to the top side, right? So targets 491, 626, $8. Those are bull targets. Okay, great. And we just need to watch out though, because you know, even though the chart looks pretty good for a potential bull reversal, but if the U.S. stock market starts to crash, because this is a Nasdaq stock, if Nasdaq pulls back, we're in trouble on this stock probably. Right? This is pulling back because it's probably getting so oversold on these multiple time frames, right? Like you get this, you got oversold on the RSI, right? And then earnings was already over, so it was a short play into earnings, and then the FUD, right, is over, and then it's bouncing up. Is it trying to make a daily trend change reversal? Yes, it is actually. Higher low, high, low. So how low can we go? Maybe $4 support, and maybe it's going to try to retest the 464 in the short term. Okay, so just kind of want to watch out. Because this is a NASDAQ stock, like let's just look at the NASDAQ really fast before we go to Ford. So QQQ, the NASDAQ ETF, all right. If we go on this monthly chart, let me turn everything off. Because remember, DOYU is a NASDAQ stock. And this applies for all tech stocks right now. So we're on the monthly chart, okay? If we zoom in really, really closely, right? We just started September, right? So this candle doesn't really matter yet. We look back for the past couple years, even with the COVID crash, we're still in the uptrend. Let me erase everything. High, low, high, low, high, low, high. Right? My alerts are going bonkers, right? Okay. So the question is where's this higher high gonna go, and how where's it gonna stop? So the problem is though, is we are starting to see monthly bearish divergence, but that could take years to play out in terms of like a crash. So I'm not really worried about that right now. But what I am concerned about is we are subtly kind of losing momentum on the weekly. You guys kind of see that, where the price is going up, right? But then you're kind of losing momentum on the RSI and the MACD and the double MACD, right? Kind of worried about that a little bit in terms of we might get a little bit of a pullback in the NASDAQ at some point. So that could affect stocks like DOYU, Tesla, um, like Netflix and the big players in the stock market. But we still are in the uptrend. Okay, it's not the end of the world for stock market. It's just at some point we're probably going to top out, right? Maybe at 400 or somewhere up here, right? Definitely if we ever poke out above a Bollinger Band, and then we'll pull back. So that could affect tech stocks. So bull targets 400, probably 425. Then support, immediate support 350, and if you want to go deep, 300 range, right? Because when we had the pandemic, that was the only time we had a weekly low RSI touch. It never happened after that. So that happens in uptrending markets, but want to watch out for that. I actually did an idea of QQQ. It's in my profile, so if you want to just use that as a reference, it's there. It's there. All right, so let's go to Ford. Okay, glad this is helping. Let's go to Ford F company stock. So very easy ticker symbol to remember, F. Now Ford. All right, we know Ford. If you're in the U.S. or if you know Ford Motor Company, right? Legend company. The issue here is it's such an established company, right? And when we think about stocks is we can't just only look at the technicals, right? Because crypto is more about like technicals for now. Stocks, though, is a lot about fundamentals, the company, the products, the financial numbers, the prospects, the news, the earnings, all that type of fundamental analysis. Very important for stocks. The broader Dow Jones, right? Ford's in the Dow Jones, right? So it's like, what's Dow Jones, S&P 500, NASDAQ? How does that relate? Oil relates to Ford a little bit, right? So all of that is kind of mixed in there together. But we can use technicals just to make sure nothing, get some targets and make sure we're not, about to go in the wrong direction, trade in the wrong direction. So let's get some resistance and support up here. So resistance, I'm seeing right here, 1869, and then the next one up there is $20, $20 basically as the resistance on the top side. There's also $15. It's only $12.89. Stock market is closed today. So we have support on the downside, right? It's pretty. I'm on a monthly chart, so it looks kind of strange, but big support 638, 477, and who knows if we're going to hit $1.20 on Ford? That would be mega opportunity on Ford, but you never know. We need a major market crash for that to happen. But we'll go on the weekly chart. All right, we did have that triple top on the RSI. That's why we're pulling back right now in this price. All right, we can also draw a trend line, very easy one right here. This is like textbook trend line. This is a very interesting example for analysis and education as well. Because let me turn everything off. Okay, we have a resistance zone on the top side, and then a support zone on the bottom side. But then we also have just a straight up trend line, support and resistance. Okay, and then we just lost it on the weekly. Do you guys see that? So that to me is a yellow flag on Ford, right? Because we were uptrending very, very powerfully after the pandemic recovery, fiscal stimulus right here. Then we're going up. High, low, high, low, high. So right now, the question is, can we save the higher low on Ford? Anything above 1130, right, in this blue, the middle blue line, is the higher low in the price. So we would have to go higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, establish it, and then higher, high. Eventually, if the broad market recovers and Ford is doing well financially, right? But for now, it's in a weekly downtrend. If you think about it, if you're very sensitive to the charts, it is a weekly downtrend, right? If we switch to daily, if we switch to daily charts, right? Yeah, weekly, the golden cross is there But how deep are we going to pull back into that golden cross is the question on Ford. So daily charts, zoom in. I know there's a lot of colors and stuff going on here, but you can still see it here. There's an intermediate downtrend for like swing traders here, like in this part, in this blue part. So yeah, we did candle close red, and so lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Looks like lower lows in the cards for Ford. Unless something really good happens, fundamentally just flip it out, right? So I'll start with the bear case scenario because of the evidence we have on the chart, right? You can pull back down to here, 1170, 1132. 1170, 1132, right? Could be that trend line. So, for example, this is the first time I'm going to show this green box on the stream. This is just, again, this is not financial advice, okay? This is just educational. But this is like an educational example I'm showing right now, right? Like if somebody wanted to go long here, imaginary trader, hypothetical, right? Somewhere in this zone would be safer than right now, per se, or even at the top here at this resistance, right? We always want to be, if you're trying to go long, we're trying to buy support. We're trying to buy the dips. We're trying to buy support. You know what I'm saying? So buying like right now, like if I buy tomorrow morning at 6:30, I'm putting more risk on myself than if I were to maybe just watch it a little bit as a technical analyst and be like, or put order down here, just be brave and be like, I'm gonna put the order at 1150, boom, and then now you have some kind of margin of safety, what is it, stop loss cushion below here, and you have a support down here. So anything in this like $11.50 range is like an interesting spot for Ford. But again, that's the short term, like a swing trade. I'm glad this is helping. Just if we zoom out though, you know, the question for me is it going to hold though? Because Dow Jones, and I have this idea posted in my Dow Jones, is there is weekly bearish divergence on the Dow Jones right now. It's building. It's been there for some time now. So there's potential for a Dow Jones stock market, USA stock market pullback. You know, analysts have been talking about this for like a month or two, but now, you know, fundamentally, what reasons could there be? Let's just list it off. Again, fundamentally, there is the Federal Reserve tapering that could happen, right? Relation to inflation, the next round of earnings in a couple months, right? We have, COVID variants. We have, what else was there? There's one more reason I forgot. But for technical reasons, there is this bearish divergence, right? Oh, we have the housing shock that could happen this month, and then we have like unemployment benefits that's like running out for people right now. So there's all sorts of problems that could happen. So remember that we just have to remember that stocks like are never alone. It's not like stocks is in a different universe. Stocks is with individual stock like Ford or DOYU is inside of their respective indexes, right? It affects it. So if Dow Jones crashes, Ford is definitely going to crash. If NASDAQ crashes, DOYU is going to crash too, probably, right? And then Bitcoin is, like a fintech, it's financial. So if QQQ crashes, NASDAQ, then Bitcoin's probably going to take a little bit of a hit there as well. So hopefully that helped on Ford and DOYU. If anybody has any more requests or questions, please ask. Feel free to ask. Okay. I just need to take a sip of water for like 10 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay. So by the way, I like streaming better than doing those picture ideas because the picture ideas just take so much more time. I could do a lot more charts in one stream than if I were to just like sit and do the picture ideas. So I'm actually more of a streamer. Um, so let's move on. Yes, exactly. BTC, again, BTC and alts, right? So if BTC, let's just confirm that because that's what I was saying earlier to another person. Same thing with BTC. BTC, Bitcoin, goes like this, right? then altcoins are going to pump probably, right? No, I shouldn't say pump. It's rally. They're going to rally, right? If Bitcoin establishes this lower high, there's a problem. Altcoins probably going to take a hit. Sometimes though, there's like that one altcoin though that defies everything and just keeps going to the moon. Because psychologically, people are always saying like, "Oh, there's I need to make money, right? Or people want to make money, or I need to make money as a trader." So there's always that like one stock or one altcoin that might not go down, or it recovers faster. You know what I mean? Like with I remember with Bitcoin right here, like Doge. You guys know Dogecoin rallied a little harder in this bounce, right? And then Ethereum took the lead here. So same thing with stocks. I remember like Tesla recovered, and then like meme stocks. Maybe we'll talk a little about meme stocks, right? So we talked about a lot today. What do we talk about? Dow Jones, S&P 500, Nasdaq, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Luna, XRP, Binance Coin, Bitcoin Cash, Ford stock, DOYU. So let me do, and then we did oil, gold. So let's do one thing we haven't done. Let's do a little bit of meme stocks. All right, let's do meme stocks. Because for me, I'm a full-time trader and investor. So in terms of my schedule, I have to figure out what time and day I'm actually going to do the streams. But I'm mostly planning for weekends because like I go hard with the trading and investing Monday through Friday. It's my full-time job. So I do stocks and crypto trading, sometimes commodities if there's a setup there. But these streams I'll probably do on like a Saturday or Sunday in US time. Um, so let's go to meme stocks. Let's start with the big daddy king of meme stocks. All right, so GameStop. All right. If you're in this stream right now, I'm about to show you the mega pattern that helped make everybody money. Okay. Um, and this is just education. Okay. This is GameStop. It's not like this doesn't happen every single time. And then GameStop has earnings in 2 days, right? So GameStop, we have to be careful, right? But just looking back on the analysis, right? Again, there's this huge upside down head and shoulders here. And again, this is like going into education, okay? So this is not financial advice. This is education right here. Right here, the upside down head and shoulders on a monthly GameStop chart. Huge pattern, huge. Boom. What is that range? 125%. But then what happened? Short squeeze, Reddit meme mania, and we ended up going 3,000%. It was only supposed to be 100, percent target, and then we went 3,000%. It's the power of retail traders if everybody bands together. Bulls, the power of bulls actually. But the reason why, just real quick, I started my group company name as No FOMO Charts is is we don't want to have FOMO ever in the market because FOMO means that we're just. I looked at the diction the what is it definition the other day just for fun to remind myself. It's like the anxiety of missing out on something, the stress and anxiety of missing out on something because people are going to do it, and the fear, the FUD, the indecision, the doubt, the stress, the anxiety, the worrying that you're going to miss out, you're going to miss something that's moving in the market. What I learned in the market in my years of trading and investing and charting is there's always another trade. There's always going to be another play. But it might not be as like, amazing as GameStop, the very first GameStop play that happened, but there's always other trades, right? So that's why going long into GameStop right now is a little bit more FOMO to me than right if somebody like had found this chart right here on $6 and was like, you know, sorry to hear that, Mix. Um, exactly. If you trade on emotion, you know, to me that's like FOMO is emotion to me. Same thing happened to me, guys. If I'm like trading on emotion, I lost. Or if I trade with no plan, I lost. If I have no real entry targets and stop loss, I lose. If my charts are bad, I lose. If I'm trying to like, if I ever try to chase, I lose, like as a bull, as long, right? So that's why over time I've adjusted my style of trading. Like I day trade too. I day trade, I swing trade, and I invest, right? But I learned over time to start with the longer term time frames because that's how people make more money, right? Because I could have traded 1,000 times, not 1,000, but I could have traded 100 times of GameStop, all up in this, right? Just like every day being like, oh, I gotta do this, gotta trade. And maybe at this point I'll be like, oh, I'm losing so much money. Oh no, right? And then, oh, let's rally, right? But then a smart investor who knows the charts, right? And this is just an example. The smart investor is like, wait a second. The professional technical analysis is like, wait a second. There's this, what is this? Upside down head and shoulders on GameStop. You know, that's a real pattern on a weekly. It's even on the monthly. It's like super clear on the monthly chart, on the weekly, right? So like I studied GameStop a lot after this happened, and I went long GameStop. I made money on GameStop personally, but I was like, let's review like why exactly did it happen, right? So we have this super powerful upside down head and shoulders pattern on a weekly and a monthly, which is even more powerful. On the daily chart, it was kind of hard to see, but it's there, right? Right there, and then right at the end of September, October, it actually broke out. I don't know if you can see that, but for like just a couple of days, it broke out right here, broke out, and then boom, right there, it pulled back down, right, and tested it, and then all this is resistance, right? But we broke through so powerfully, and who knows? Maybe it's never gonna happen again, right? This exact thing because now hedge funds know the play. Like hedge funds, they know what Reddit people are doing and Robinhood people are doing. So if you notice, the gains in some of these meme stock plays have been much lower, smaller than the original GameStop and AMC and like the Nokia BlackBerry that first time in February of this year. So I've noticed that like every time there's a meme stock play, it's getting like less and less um, explosive move. Like we're not getting 4,000% moves anymore. You know what I mean? On recent stuff. Um, but yeah, so there's that as well. But I'm gonna stop looking at the past. Let's look at it right now. Right now, what's happening on GameStop? Where there's a bit of an equilibrium pattern happening on GameStop, right? This right here. You can also draw this. There's one more trend line down here, such like that. So there's that, symmetrical pattern a little bit, but the suspicious thing is this a double bottom? Could be considered a double bottom, right? On 146.39, but we have GameStop earnings in T minus 2 days. So for me, just educational wise, how I play earnings is I don't play the earnings release like 1 minute after it comes out. I wait till the next day. That's what I learned as well. In the market, I just wait till the next day and see what the big players in the market are gonna do. Um, so I used to trade earnings, like I tried to trade earnings, like day trading style, but I'm like, no, but if I keep reviewing my trades, I see that, oh, if I wait, like let's say for GameStop, here's a perfect example, right? We could have some idea of where this might go because if this is a W double bottom pattern, 63% would be the first target if this breaks out. 63% would take us to the top of this resistance right here, where we first went, right? 478, 479, that's the top. Let me draw in a big giant box right there on the top side. Then we have a support on the bottom side. We put in the golden box down here. Okay, so it's like people can easily see that. Alrighty. Now, let's do bull and bear case scenarios. Okay. Bull case scenario, 63% would bring us to 63% would bring us to from the spot of the breakout 350, 92. I already drew it. 350.92 right here. If not, the inverse is also true. We could crash down 63% from the breakout, which bring us back to $50. which would be a very interesting spot for GameStop, right? But the intermediate support is just right here, 152, where it's been holding support 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6 times right here at 150. So we just need to watch out for GameStop. Again, why it's no FOMO is we have to take into account there's real financial numbers that the hedge funds, Wall Street, institutions are going to be looking for. More social-based traders like Reddit people or Robinhood people, they might be looking for hype plays, right? If earnings is good, they might be looking for a hype bull rally that next morning for like 1, 2, 3 days. But for me is I just stick to technical analysis and I'm like fine with a little bit of fundamentals. So what I mean is it's mixed right here. It is going sideways. So again, if we have really, really good earnings for whatever reasons, right, that happen, then that's the bull target up there. If it's a bad reaction, then it's going it's going bear target down here to like 136. And then we could use Fibonacci retracement to get some easier. Also, I'm on a log scale. That's why it looks so unbalanced. Get some easier targets. So again, what happened is we rallied for the past like 1 or 2 weeks to hit this top trend line, pull back because it's a little oversold, right? Right. If you go to like a shorter term time frame, you'll see it's oversold like at 4 hours and stuff. 4 hours right here, RSI oversold, right? Bearish divergence, pull back down. Also, it's just kind of chopping around right here. That's never good. And so it's kind of weak for now. Last week we had this shooting star, a weekly pattern. So it was shorted down, hit support, and then we had a baby short squeeze with the GME and AMC rally here to this trend line, and we're getting stuck. Now, right, all these targets come into play. Bull target, 246, 300. Bear target, 187, 170, 150, 136. Those are the levels I would be personally playing GME if I was going to trade it this month. That's something I would do. Right, watch out for those levels. But also remember, if the Dow Jones just suddenly starts crashing S&P, this is probably going to come down, most likely. Okay, and let's just do AMC because it's also the meme stock, darling. And then if anyone has any trades they want me to review, or maybe just the same ticker you're doing, okay, and maybe I could analyze it for you. Just again, request. Feel free to ask stocks, crypto, commodities, forex. Let me know, and even the time frame. I do all the time frames, right? I day trade, I scalp, I day trade, I swing trade, I invest. We do all of it. So right here, AMC, and we have to remember AMC and GameStop. Remember, if you lived in the USA and you grew up in the USA in a major metropolitan city, you probably went inside a GameStop. You probably went into AMC, right? I bought video games from GameStop, even in the past couple of years, right? I went to AMC movies, years ago. That's where I watched my movies. So these are powerful brand names in the US, at least, in the major cities. So again, what happened with AMC? Again, GameStop started it, but AMC had its own setup. Okay. We could just see here AMC had right here. Okay. Yeah, we'll look at that. I'll look at that. We could just do support and resistance plays on AMC and just start putting these levels up. All right. I like to use a line chart because it just helps me get the close of the price instead of candles. So here we go. Also, if there's a log scale, I remember in one of my other classes that I teach, I put this trend line up and we traded this. So this is a trade review. You see that trend line, boom, bounce. Right there, right? The hidden trend line support, right? That was a nice, it turned out to be a 4-to-1 play. We were trying to get 2-to-1 play. We were trying to get 20%, but it went 40%. It's beautiful. And same thing happened with GameStop, right? It pulled back down into the support level and then bounced up for about a month, right? So there is that hidden trend line there. And then the uptrend is intact, right? Weekly, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So it's make or break time for AMC bulls eventually for the next 3 months. Is AMC going to establish a higher high and hold above the previous all-time high, $60? $60 right there, the blue dot, right? So it has to go up, probably targeting $100 psychological, right? Or 80, pull back. And if it's real, the trend line will stay intact and will keep going up like this. Not to infinity, but to a reasonably very high price level because AMC's at all-time highs right now. It's the highest price ever, almost was in that range. 72.62 was the highest price ever for AMC. So it has to break that. That's the resistance. It's the break and hold and uptrend for real to get out of there, right? If not, that's a bull case, right? $80, $100, that's a bull case. $63. But intermediate support is $30. All the way down here, ooh, this could be bad. $14, $7. Use Fibonacci to get some of these, right? Right here, $27 is a very interesting spot for AMC. Right here, 27.39. Those spots, very interesting, right? So that's how we knew how to go long for our trade. It's in a 618 and it's at trend line support. There's two factors right there for trading. And if we want confirmation, there's bullish MACD divergence. There's like momentum building up on the MACD down here. If you use the MACD, it's like, okay, the double bottom on the RSI. If you're a swing trader, let's use the lines, the switch session lines. But if your swing trader is like, hey, there was a RSI oversold, right? People use that strategy. Doesn't always work, but it's there. We had RSI at 22 at one point. So, but it's a meme stock. That's why it bounced so high. So that's basically that analysis on AMC and GameStop. But again, in 2 days, GME, GameStop has an earnings, so AMC is going to fluctuate at the exact same time. They all move in tandem. It's basically like GameStop became Bitcoin, and then all the other meme stocks are the altcoins. So the same principles apply. Bitcoin goes up, Bitcoin goes down. We might see some fluctuations in these other altcoins and the meme stocks. FSN. Is this a real stock? I've never seen this before. Is this real? Oh, okay. Right here. Is it this one? 214270 on the KRX, on the Kospi. FSN Huobi. Oh, is it crypto? Yeah. Can you give me the exact? Let me see. Aha. FSN USDT. Okay, thank you. Because strangely, there's a FSN on the Korean stock. So, all right, good thing we got the right one. Let's see here. FSN USDT. It's okay. Um, that's a good example is because there are times where like there's stories in the news of people who get who are like buying the wrong stock. Like they'll hear it on CNBC, but then they'll type it in wrong on their broker and they just bought the completely wrong stock. Like there's stories of that out there of people. So we want to be careful of that. So, so thank you for clarifying. All right. So FSN, Fusion. Okay, I heard of Fusion before. So FSN USDT right here. Yeah, that could become a problem. So let's start again. Think about Bitcoin BTC. Is that if we know Bitcoin BTC needs to break above 50, 60, 65,000, okay? We just keep that in our mind. But the bear target on Bitcoin could be, 50,000, 45, 40, 30,000, right? What I'm seeing here on FSN, let me make sure I'm looking, interesting. So on OK Exchange, FSN trading is actually different. This is interesting. Yeah, so we're finding additional clues. All right, so just need to get my bearings here. So What's interesting first on the FSN USDT chart is the question is this an upside down head and shoulders? Maybe. The neckline is not very clear or easy to see. Um, so I'm not actually going to call it upside down head and shoulders, but if it was, is this another 10 bagger? Maybe, right? But that's kind of too hyper bullish of a call, right? So let's break it down a little bit, right? Because I just glanced over at the Bitcoin and the other exchange. It is uptrending though, so we have to find some additional clues. If we go on the weekly chart, okay, there's some MACD uh, momentum building. It's not too extreme, oversold or overbought, but it looks like right now FSN to me is trying to establish a new uptrend. Because if we just split the chart right down here, this side is downtrend and this side is uptrend, right? So it went from lower low, lower high, actually equilibrium, right? But then bear break. So it's low, high, low, like that. Then we had a reversal this year, okay? And FSN's an altcoin, so it's just like kind of like Doge, right? In that Doge, right at the end of January, all altcoins exploded up, okay? And then you have a Fibonacci retracement. When you got the pullback down, we topped out at 65,000 at exactly at the same time as Bitcoin right here. So this is the bottom, and this is the top, right? And we pulled back. We had a little bit of a fight around the 618 area, just like Dogecoin, just like Bitcoin, right there in the blue. And then we pulled back all the way to the 88% retrace, which is significant. Now we're retesting the rally. We're going back up, right? So high, low, high, low, high, lower, high, lower, low, higher, low. So it's establishing its new uptrend on the weekly and the daily as well. Bullish targets 81 cents, dollar, $1.27, and basically just everything on this left side right here up to like $2. Bull targets right there. If the rally continues up nonstop. But let's say if it tops out right here at like a 80 cents or a dollar, let's pretend it tops out at a dollar. So let's pretend it does this and it goes here and stops right here at the circle. Then if it does not keep going higher in uptrend, we're pulling back down, probably to all of these spots, 80, 55, 40, right? So what are some potential patterns that I could foresee here just based on experience, knowledge in the markets is, okay, bull scenario, we have to maintain uptrend. We know that. Bear scenario, okay, if this stops here, then it's going to pull back down. But we know this is crypto, right? So it could pull back down. That's the textbook downtrend. Or we could get double bottom. That could happen. Double bottom. We could also get maybe an upside down head and shoulders if this really plays out. That would be a real bullish signal for FSN. But for right now, the upside down head and shoulders to me is maybe, right? Because a pure upside down head and shoulders would be like this, right? Downtrending, downtrending, and then you make this is like textbook upside down head and shoulders, like this, where it's super clean, very, very clean, and it's there's no neckline that's sticking out like that. You know what I mean? Or like this. There's no weird intermediate mountains in like that. Okay, it has to be very, very, for textbook, it would be clean. If it was, personally, okay, this is not financial advice. This is just education. As an example, hypothetically, if it was an upside down head and shoulders, I might enter the trade. I would put some risk on because it's crypto. I would double check with Bitcoin. Like, but if this was a Bitcoin chart, I would 100% enter the trade. On a weekly chart like this, if I saw Bitcoin like this, I'm like, boom, I am in this trade. This is what traders love to see. This is what traders love to see, right? I don't know what happened to my risk reward, but this thing got screwed up. Let's put this at 50 cents. You need a stop loss in there of you need your stop loss in there. I can't pull it out for some reason. It needs to be 1. There we go. So yeah, This is kind of extremely huge example, kind of unrealistic, but it's crypto, right? So at least minimum 2-to-1 trade, but it's like, okay, negative 50% to downside that's extreme for altcoin. But some people do this style of trading, right? These are extreme numbers, so let me actually like make it smaller. These are more reasonable. 25% to downside as an investor, and then 50% to 100% on top side. Bull target, that's real. So if this educationally happened, this is what we want to see, right? Upside down head and shoulders. Beautiful. Okay. And we just saw that on GameStop, right? Over here. Going back to the weekly chart. It's right there. This is more of a textbook upside down head and shoulders. You see that it's very clean. Where it was downtrending, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and there's a super clean neckline. And once you have the break, you have the retest, and then you're up into the bull races. The rally, right? But FSN, if we're really strict about it, it's kind of not really, right? So I wouldn't really say it's upside down head and shoulders unless we're considering this as the neck. Like it has to break. There has to be a very clean neck at the top side. So to me, it's not really upside down head and shoulders. But what it is it's a daily trend change reversal, weekly and daily trend change reversal. That's what it really is. So high, low, and it's wanting to retest this just like Bitcoin. So if it's just the Bitcoin chart, right? So Bitcoin continues to rally, Fusion will probably continue to follow along. If Bitcoin fails, Fusion will most likely fail. There's probably going to be some like one trade opportunity right at this double bottom, right? But if you look at the past history of Fusion, it actually doesn't have to stay at double bottom, right? Because if you copy and paste this picture right here, right, double bottom and then higher, low, to me kind of looks like this right here as an example. Low, high, low, low, high, low, high, low, high, right? Just this low into the high reversal. So more very specifically, is this going to happen with FSN, the double top right here at that range, and then pull back down to like 50 cents? That's exactly what happened here. So will history repeat itself? It depends on Bitcoin actually for FSN. So we shall see. We shall see. But still, it's a good chart, right? In terms of, it's not the greatest spot to enter along right here as a hypothetical example, right? Someone has to risk a lot because it's an altcoin, right? To get to this top, again, $2 and not $2, but even just get to $1, 50%, right? And that's 25%. Again, that's like the altcoin risk to reward ratio minimum 2-to-1 reward to risk, right? 2-to-1 ratio, but that's a lot. 25%. That would bring FSN back down into a bear market correction. So just on the charts, it's minimum 25%, and probably don't want to go all in on it. You know what I mean? Because it's not at a low in the price. It's not the lowest price ever. That's why, just for an example, really quick, for DOYU, because if we look at GameStop and then let's just rewind to DOYU, right? It's not there yet, right? If you just look at the price, it could. So with DOYU, it could make a double bottom, right? Rally and then fail and then make a double bottom, and that's a huge pattern. I would definitely buy this W pattern. I would put risk on, not all in, but I would buy some, right? 30% to downside, 60% to top side, right? I would definitely buy some, right? But just because it's a hammer, right? It's not like a fully completed pattern yet. So that's why it's kind of like maybe. That's what I'm saying, maybe on DOYU. The monthly is like maybe, right? You kind of need a little bit more information. Is this a daily upside down head and shoulders? Like, yes, there is one here technically, like that. Measure the move. 25% from the breakout. It looks like it wants to retest that, and do that. But again, if the market crashes, DOYU's in trouble because it's the foreign stocks that always take the hardest hit first. So this swing trade would be like 12% risk, 24%, bullish topside target. So, yeah, but it did hit that low purple RSI. I like to call it low purple, just color wise, but it hit that low RSI and the MACD's open. So, if somebody would, if I were to take risk, it's like, okay, maybe. It's maybe. If this is considered baby upside down head and shoulders, the target's 25 from the breakout, and we just broke out. And then what happens a lot with head and shoulder upside down is it retests just to make sure, is this for real? If it's for real and the market's good, okay, we'll hit the target. But I've seen upside down head and shoulders fail too. So this could just stop, top out, and rewind and fail, and then make a super low oversold down here somewhere. Like we've seen that happen so many times. So with FSM, going back to FSM, it's possible, right? I would just, for me, I would be like, okay, let me get a trend line here and just make sure we're safe. If we're riding up on this trend line, it's good. But going long at the top of this, wick is dangerous. That would be FOMO. If somebody day trades right at the top here, okay, that's risky, right? But if somebody were to be like, wait a second, based upon my technical analysis, right, the charts, there is a trend line here. I'm going to go long right at that spot. That's a very safer trade. Not very safe, but it's a better trade, right? You put your 2-to-1 ratio, you get your 12% stop loss, 24% to the top side target, and you hit that right now. So that's why people are selling the robots. They're like, they hit that right there, and right here. Okay, yeah, I hope it goes well for you. It's just right now where the market is in terms of charts is just like anything. Are we going to go higher to break all-time highs on Dow Jones and Nasdaq, or are we going to pull back because of there are some issues that are happening in the USA, like I said, like news and fundamental wise. But yeah, I know other traders, they're long right now crypto. They're long crypto because of this, right? Again, for crypto, if we really, really look at and trust in these indicators, let me go to something that's not with my drawings on already, right? If you just put up a 50 and 100 EMA, a 50 and 200, you have a golden cross right away, right on. Let me turn this off. I can't turn it off. You have a golden cross on Bitcoin, so that's enough reason just based on that to enter a trade. Like, so I know some people who do that strategy. Doesn't always work, but right, the last golden cross we had was the big one, but it's because we were on a relatively low spot, right? We had a golden cross here in June 2020. If you look at my old ideas, I was saying we're going to have a breakout right here at 10, 11,000, and we ended up going to 50,000, right? So again, my analysis of Bitcoin is, again, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100,000. We need to reach those levels within 1 to 2 years, or we are in trouble on Bitcoin in the short term, right? Because if we double top here, problem. Just remember, so let's just do a risk to reward ratio lesson really fast. I know you guys know this. You guys might know this already. Yeah, we look at a total chart. So total. Yeah, we're almost breaking all-time highs on the total chart. That's true. And again, it's golden cross, so it's like, it is bullish, right? So that's why I'm not saying we're about to go down. I'm not like bearish. I'm not super bearish, but we have to be aware of worst case scenario. Like if suddenly Bitcoin gets banned globally, is like, ooh, that's a huge problem. That would be catastrophe, right? But for now, unless there's no major fundamental changes and the stock market does not crash, right? Yeah, the breakout. But even with total, usually what happens is we have to break out and then retest, break out, retest. That's what this is on this left side here, right? It's breakout, retest, support, breakout, retest, previous, and breakout, right? Yeah, that's what I've learned. Yes, that's what I've learned is because beginner traders, right, or people get swept up in social media and fun and news, is they'll get swept up in whatever direction people think it's going to go, right? But we, as traders and investors, we always have to plan for risk. Okay, so let me finish up the dominance chart before we move on to BTC dominance, right? So let me erase everything. Bitcoin dominance. All right, so it hit a relative low, and it looks like it's trying to establish the right here, higher high and higher low, right? Oh, I'm more of a technical analyst, so I listen to the news and fundamentals, but that news reaction has been priced into Bitcoin price and will continue to get priced into Bitcoin charts. So for me, how I've stayed alive and profitable and surviving and thriving in this market is the technical setups usually include fundamental news in the price action. So, because for me, there's already a lot of YouTubers who cover fundamental news, and that's all they do. So for me, I'm like 90% a technical analyst. Um, I'm like 80 90% technical analyst, and then 10 to 20% fundamentals for me. Um, and it's really fundamentals that can like really really make or break Bitcoin. So like for me, just looking in the past, there's like forks for crypto. There's fundamental forks. There's like upgrades. You know what I'm saying? Like the version 2.0 of some coin, or a split of some coin, or coin split, or if a CEO, executive suite, or team changes could be a big fundamental problem, or if there's like mergers and acquisitions and deals, and then like you're saying as well, um, the going live for El Salvador, and it's going to be a very interesting experiment for them. See if it actually works. I just hope. I mean, I'm not laughing, but I'm just like, oh, it would be so tragically sad if they go live and then Bitcoin starts crashing and like everybody starts losing all their money. That's going to be sad to witness. It's just like, oh man, that's bad. Um, so it's going to be very interesting to see um, that. But here, finishing up on the Bitcoin dominance chart, this is all the price action we have. Actually, my chart is lagging, but right here, support, resistance, resistance, resistance. But for me, again, in all my years of trading and investing, right? Because crypto, sometimes people like we look at the dominance and the total chart, but again, if we're pure technical analysts, right? If we're pure technical analysts, yes, possible W or higher high, higher low, trend change here, which would mean maybe this, right? Right, 20% from the breakout. So bring us up to the 59. And RSI, there is a little bit of momentum building, positive. Yes. Right. So, yep, that could be there. Right. But this on the left side, 2018 was more of a giant, not quite a W, but a very, very large established higher low. Because it was lower, it was downtrending for so long. And then the first time higher high, higher low. And then we started to uptrend on the dominance chart. But again, for me, I just look at just the pure Bitcoin chart, because if somebody like if for me, if I just trust in the charts and the indicators and the strategies and what I know works in the market for a decade to 20, like actually for like 40 years, right? It works, these strategies, 10, 20 years. And then if I put what I hear on Reddit and CNBC on hold, if I just put that on pause or set it aside in my mind, then even if somebody didn't know all of the information of Bitcoin is, do I trust this weekly trendline support? Could just be one very, very simple question. One very, very simple but important question. Because if somebody did trust that in the pandemic and ended up buying the low, that is the ultimate spot to go long on Bitcoin. And that person's up 800% just by trusting the trendline support of technical analysis. I know there is extreme fear and uncertainty and doubt in the COVID-19 crash, and there's so many problems at that time, right? There was not even a bullish catalyst at that time. But do I trust the technical charts and not put that insane amount of risk on it? But you know, you would have to. I'm not. This would have been a very hard trade because people actually would have got stopped out. But let's say somebody after it started recovering, like said, hey, you know what? I trust in this trend line long-term support, and they maybe bought here and then put a negative 25% stop loss. They didn't have to worry about anything this whole time, right? This crash, this bounce, this pullback, this bounce doesn't matter for a long-term holder, right? Because if they bought at 3,000 or wherever, right? Trusting the trend line support, knowing that the general rule of longs and bulls is we should buy support, buy support, buy support, buy support, buy trend and support, trend and support. That's like the mantra that I know works time and time again on these charts. Any single asset that I can look at, trend, support, resistance, trend, support, resistance, and then can I find it, do the analysis, and put the appropriate levels of risk on it? Can I do it? Live. Okay, so for me, going live is I'm a full-time investor and trader, trading stocks and crypto and commodities. So I do that full-time every single day, Monday through Friday. So I'm probably going to go live on weekends, at least. Maybe on Saturday, Sunday, and then I could do analysis for anything upcoming that I find. Or if you guys have requests, we could do requests. Um, I also have, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I have a YouTube. You can see my social media links. Actually, I can say it like this. My social media links are in my profile. So specifically, there's a YouTube. I do Twitter, but then I'm more of a streamer. Like I like talking it out instead of writing one picture. Um, so I have YouTube. I have a Twitch. I created a Discord chat. I have a YouTube, but I just got approved for TradingView finally. So I'm gonna stream on TradingView, and I'm live on YouTube right now at the same time. Um, but basically everything will be centered here around TradingView for a while, for like the rest of the year. This is kind of my thoughts. And I have a Discord chat group if you guys want to join. It's in the profile. Okay, it's free. Everything I'm saying right now, right? I'm just gonna do on my what is it? I just opened the Discord yesterday. Okay, so if you guys are getting it right now, it's like, you know, this is like the greatest time. You know what I'm talking about? It's like we could talk about stocks and charts, like just whatever you guys want to talk about, we talk about it. And I do a lot of analysis and I do a lot of trading myself. I do day trading. I do everything. I do scalping. I do day trading. If there's opportunity, I do swing trading. I do investing. It's all there. And for me, part of why I started it, okay, is like when I first started years ago, I didn't know anything about technicals or fundamentals or anything. I didn't know anything about stock. I had zero knowledge, you know what I mean? And I had to learn the hard way, and I studied so hard. You know what I mean? I read 100 books in 1 year one time about stocks, investing, trading. I was like obsessed about it. I wanted to learn. I wanted to become good. I wanted to get better. And so everything I'm saying right now is that combination of my knowledge and information and everything I'm studying and personal experience. And I've back tested every single public indicator on TradingView. I've done it myself, right? So I know what works and what doesn't work in the market on Bitcoin. I know what works and doesn't work on S&P 500. I tested everything, right? So um, part of what I'm showing you is what I know basically works, right, in the market for now. Like maybe 20 years from now, it's going to change. But right now, it works, right? So longer term is the name of the game if you're trying to like make profits. Because again, I understand people are trying to scalp and day trade, right? Like let's say if I go on 1 minute right now on Coinbase and I'm looking at 1 minute chart, it's like, okay, yes, unless I'm doing insane leverage trading, right? This kind of picture is hard to see, but it's like, all right, my target is what, 0.25%, and my downside risk is 0.12%. That's just fees, right? So in America, USA, we're not allowed to do leverage trading on crypto. That's why people in the USA do not do it. So that's why a lot of more people in the USA, they're at least, you know, they at least try to swing trade or do like a little bit more profitable day trades, right? But for me, if you really, really study um, and find out like how did people make their $1 million fortune? Like there's the guy on Dogecoin. You see this on the CNBC news like every month. They always write the same story about the same guy, right? This guy went long on Doge. This is not the right chart. This guy, where is it? Yeah, yeah. This is Bittrex. They have some. This guy went long on Doge somewhere here. Um, maybe at 1 or 2 cent range or something like that. And he's a holder. He's not letting go, right? So if you really think about it, it's like, okay, Doge, the people who are hodling and they bought at a support level, they're the ones who are just making money right now, right? People who are trying to like obsessively day trade um, every single setup that comes in the market are probably losing money right now, to be honest, because right now, the statistic right now is if you like Google it, it's basically like not everybody knows, excuse me, everybody knows in the industry that like 80, 85, 90, 95% of people lose money over time if they're trying to trade without a profitable strategy and knowledge, right? So 90 to 95% of traders lose money over time and they don't last even 1 year trading. That's the statistic. And 80% of the stock market trading, 70 or something like 80% is algorithmic bot trading. So we're fighting the bots in the stock market as day traders, right? So what I've learned over time in my studies is, and most people know this, like successful investors, longer term holding or hodling would be a more effective way of making money instead of trying to do 10,000 trades because there's fees, there's taxes if you end up becoming very profitable from that. It's possible. I know people, YouTubers, other traders that, yeah, day trading is their style. But for me, if I had to pick one style, I think I would just do longer term holding, right? Because it's like, I'm sure none of us want to be chained to the desk and because trading can become another desk job, right? So that's all I'll say about that. Again, I'm not trying to knock anybody or make anybody feel bad right now. I'm just saying the realistic information of what I've learned and seen. So I just hope that everybody, has happy trading, good setups and strategies in the market, good risk control, profitable, account balances. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen for everybody. And I'm just here to provide some knowledge and information that I've learned from my study and experience and testing in the markets. So, like this guy, if he bought at 2 cents and he's holding till now, he's still up 1,300% on Dogecoin, um, the ultimate meme coin, right? I remember for me, I both invested and traded Doge at the same time. I remember that SNL day was like 70 cents up here. I still remember that. But what I'm trying to show people is I can show all sorts of setups, like a quick 5 minute setup or anything like that. But I'm trying to just tell people the bigger picture of like, you know, even here on this trend line support, like if we look at Doge on a log scale, it's still You can still draw trend lines. Boom, like this. So obviously this first trend line got broken, and that's the first time there people know, okay, oops, there's a problem here with Doge. So, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And again, this is why trading and setups, that's why they don't always work. It doesn't always work, right? If that's why you have to have some kind of stop loss as a trader, either mental or real hard stop loss, right? So on the weekly chart, this thing would be like a 13% downside to like 40% on the upside, right? And then it failed, and then it really failed for 5 weeks straight, right? So people just trying to scalp right here, it's like that's fine, but just remember if somebody properly went long, because it's showing uptrend all the way back here starting from November 2020, actually all the way back here 1 year ago, right? If we use trend and support and resistance analysis, just erase everything, because we did see a consolidation on Dogecoin, and then we had a descending triangle breakout. I don't know if you guys see this, or downward sloping wedge. It's actually not descending, it's a wedge. Breakout, boom, retest. You guys see this setup happening on the weekly? Boom, higher high, higher low, and then using technical analysis, we can measure this, get some kind of target, 600%, maybe at a maximum, right? Or 100%, or maybe just this small part, whatever part of the triangle you want to, 50 to 100 to 600%, right? And then where do we go from the breakout? Right here at this spot, because it's the first time this ever happened in history. We went 12,000% on Doge. Okay, that's probably never gonna happen again, but like exactly like that. But just an example of somebody preparing on the charts, like putting in the work beforehand, so there's no FOMO, or there's less FOMO. That's what I'm all about, if we could find it, right? But where we are in the market right now is there's less of this happening. You know what I'm saying? There's less of a crash. Like we didn't just crash. It's not March 2020. It's not there anymore. We're up here realistically, but people still found the intermediate support level on Doge, right? Because you have to wonder, why do we stop here? Well, it's day traders stopping that, right? Their bull is buying that in a good way. Also, it's probably some Fibonacci support level, right? That's why I like to do pandemic low to pandemic high, then zoom in. Yeah, right at the 786, literally right on the dot. 786 retrace. Okay, I remember this. I traded this part. I remember swing trading this part, this hammer, the 618 bounce. It's good profits there, right? And that's an example of a quick swing trade. That was like insane rally. But lower low, lower high, lower low, kind of a short squeeze, and in a 1 hour, this is probably uptrending on EMAs, right? Just by experience. So now it's higher high and at higher low. Establish a higher low at the 618 at 25 cents, 26 cents. But the problem is Doge hasn't rallied big. It needs to do this, right? To maintain its weekly uptrend. 38, 46, 57, 71, right? High, low, high, low, high, low, like that. It needs to do that. If not, Doge is kind of in trouble. But at the same time, it's like, wait a second, we went from head and shoulders to upside down head and shoulders, right? So it's kind of like, all right, which one's gonna, I mean, this is the new one, the upside down head and shoulders, right? So it's like, all right, fine. But it's upside, we have to realize it's upside down head and shoulders, but it's not the bottom of Doge. Okay, so just remind myself about that. It is upside down head and shoulders. Yes, Doge might end up going to $1, right? So let's just end here on this right here. I know I'm going really, really long. I went 2 hours. Thanks everyone so much for sticking around on the stream. Really appreciate it. I'm just here to share some free knowledge and information and setups and education. So for education purposes only. So again, if this turns out to be the upside down head and shoulders Doge at a very high price point in time, well, let's measure it and see what's really happening. That's the neckline in yellow. Maybe, right? Maybe 80% breakout, maybe. But again, Bitcoin has to rally probably to like 60, 70, 80, 90, 100,000, right? 88%. So 88% would bring us back to all-time highs. It's not impossible to go back to this one all-time high. Not impossible. So that's something I'm really watching out for right now on Doge. Is this going to happen? Yes or no? 90% to top side. And somebody, like if you're an investor, usually, 10 to 20%, 25%, because that's the bear market marker. If something crashes down negative 25% or more, it's bear market territory. You'll often hear CNBC talk about that all the time. But right now, higher high, higher low, and potential upside down head and shoulders at the way top point in time of Dogecoin, because on a longer term time frame, this is just some kind of like bull flag on Doge on the monthly. Just some kind of bull flag, right? But on a weekly, it's like, okay, it's mixed. The inflection point is we're right at the middle inflection point of 30 cents. So Doge has to really, really, really bullishly break out on top. And again, we're watching Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up, Doge is probably going to go up. Bitcoin goes down, Doge probably going down, unless inverse correlation happens and all of like Robinhood traders, Reddit traders jump into Dogecoin in the next 3 months. So this is very interesting, but this would be the kind of setup. It's pretty good risk to reward if you think about it. If the pattern's 88%, right? The tightest stop loss one person can have is like 15, 14%. That's pretty good risk to reward, 6 to 1. 6 to 1. But remember, it's at the highest spot ever of this year for Doge. So I would watch out for that. And we could see here too how people can kind of get biases in their mind, because it's like if somebody's reading too much bullish news or too much bullish hype on Reddit, Robinhood, on social medias, then people would maybe with their eyes would see an upside down head and shoulders. But if somebody's a little bearish, right? If somebody's a bear, then maybe they're seeing this as a lower low, right? Just like lower high, lower low. And then maybe they're building a bear case like, we're going back down to 18 cents here, right? So definitely possible. Definitely possible, right? So this is very suspicious to me. But again, upside down head and shoulders on classical charting, it needs to come from a downtrend into the upside down head and shoulders. Like, because this is weird. This, if you think about it, it's after a uptrend, right, into a small pullback into a downtrend. So you realize this upside down head and shoulders is not the same as the GameStop upside down head and shoulders. GameStop was shorted down for like 4 years straight, and then we had an upside down head and shoulders. But Dogecoin is the reverse. We had a year straight of rally pullback into upside down head and shoulders. So this just feels and looks like bulls just trying to save. This is just oversold, day trading and swing traders buying that. And then this right here is mixed indecision psychologically of bulls saying, can we push it? Can we go to dollar on Dogecoin? That's what bulls are probably feeling and thinking right now with the Bitcoin rally, right? What do you mean? Informing on which chart? On Doge? Doge? Oh, okay. So, yeah. So for me, hypothetically, this is how I would handle this. Okay, it's just again, for me, I like to think of both sides because I know there's two players in this game. There's bulls and there's bears, right? There's bulls and bears. right? So how I would view this is, again, yes, we can look at the fundamentals and we can look at the technicals, right? But at the same time, do I trust in the charts, right? Am I action oriented enough to put some risk on the market? That's the question. Okay. We could find further clues too, because I know I've been looking at the weekly this like whole time. We can look at the inside of like on a daily chart, all right, and then we could bring us some standard indicator tools to help us see what's happening, right? So again, right here, why do we bottom out? Well, it's low RSI, it's bullish MACD divergence. Bitcoin was doing the same thing, and then the upper trend line was broken, higher high, higher low, and then we're off to a daily trend change. Right? It happens all the time, stocks and crypto, relative to the price. But where are we right now? Okay, price is back above the 20, 50, 100, and 200 EMA averages. The golden cross is still alive. We did have a daily upside down head and shoulders here. Do you guys see this one? Kind of dirty. It's not really a real textbook one, but the psychology was there. An easier one would just be the upper trend line resistance was broken, violated to the upside. That happened. That happens all the time in stock markets. If you guys day trade, you guys know that happens like every single day, like 5 times a day, um, as a day trader, depending on the asset. Okay, so on the Doge chart, that's exactly why we broke out. So I went long at 20 cents. Trade review, I went long at 20 cents. Why? For a trade, because it's like, that's the breakout. That's the strategy. That's the strategy. And I knew I'm not going to day trade this one because this is a large descending wedge pattern. Okay, we can measure the middle of it, 50%. Did we go 50%? Exactly 50%. And then we pulled back because swing traders know, okay, we hit the target. Time to take some profits. And there's a head and shoulders on the RSI, right? So there's so many clues. So many clues. If I have my head on straight, if I have my knowledge and information, if I'm thinking clearly and doing charts well on longer term time frames, then I have less FOMO, I have less YOLO opinions, I have less outside people on Reddit and social medias, Wall Street, CNBC, Robinhood affecting my mind. But that was just a trade. I knew, for example, went long right at 20 cents, and I said, okay, where's my risk to reward ratio here before I bought? I said, okay, if the measurement is like 40, 25 to 50%, right? Where's the stop loss under here? 25%. So this was like a large stop loss. But because of this breakout and just this basic higher low and right here, and then we exploded up, and then this is day traders selling off, and then day traders buying it back on this day. And so, intraday traders they restarted their longs right here for an additional 25% gain, right? So for me, I saw this, right? 25%. Did I have to do that? No. Somebody could have done a really, really tight stop loss of only 5% and they were still safe. That's a little too tight, right? I would have maybe done 10%. Still 5, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1 on your money with plenty of liquidity to get out in this crypto trade. It's textbook. It's textbook, right? Textbook descending wedge breakout pattern. And then topping that off, you have additional tools saying, wait a second, MACD, momentum building, RSI establishing a higher low as well. Riding the EMAs. Then we broke above the EMAs, right? There's so many tools out there. Bollinger Bands. Like this is just bots buying the bottom of the Bollinger Band, selling the top, right? But all these strategies, they're not 100% working, right? But for me, instead of just putting on 50 indicators on the screen, it's just very simple. That was the only thought process I had. I wasn't even thinking about fundamentals on Doge. It's just, as a technical analyst, boom, get the pattern. Just make sure nothing extreme is going to happen in the market. Like there's no like Bitcoin fork about to happen tomorrow, like right here. right? There's no Bitcoin fork. There's no Doge fork. There's no split. There's nothing. Nothing's really happening that's super dangerous right here. So I'm like, okay, um, here we go. Higher high, higher low, breakout, trade complete. As a trader, right? This would also be a nice spot to just kind of hodl for a little bit, or hold, not hodl, but hold, right? Because in also doing this is like, wait a second, if we're going to get a trend change here, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? Now as an investor, let's pretend, right? Somebody bought right here. Let's pretend somebody bought at the bottom right here at 20 cents. They're still holding. High, low, high, low. It's like, all right, you got to see where is the higher high. We got to break above 36 cents this month. We have to do it, right? Because if not, it's going to establish that lower high, and then we're screwed. Bulls are, just for short term, and then bears will win, right? And we'll probably likely retest 25, 20 cents right in there. Okay, so we talked about a lot today. Thanks everybody for watching and following and participating in the chat. And again, I talk a lot, so just to clarify, I'm not knocking down anybody's style of trading or strategy or indicators or anything, okay? I'm just here to share free knowledge and experience and information and education to people who want to participate, right? So again, my social media links are in my profile here on TradingView. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but there's YouTube, there's Twitch, there's Discord group that's free. I just started that yesterday. If you're on Discord, TradingView. I do have a Twitter, but I'm trying to post more ideas in the TradingView ideas. So those are my main socials on this right here. And in terms of schedule, I'm probably going to do a live stream just like this on the weekends, like a Saturday or Sunday. Probably in the evening, afternoons and evenings. That's the open time slot I have right now. So like a Saturday, Sunday, afternoon or evening. And if you guys have any ticker requests, like if you come with next stream with like, 1, 2, or 3 stocks and crypto requests, I will happily look at it, and as well as my own indexes that I usually do. So again, thanks so much. Yeah, Saturday. I think for me though, my most free day is Saturday, because Sunday technically the crypto market opens. Like the crypto market just opened, 2, 4, 6 hours ago on Sunday. So I think Saturday for me in USA time is the day I'm gonna do it. It's just that if I can't do it on Saturday, I'll probably push it to a Sunday. So it's like high chance Saturday afternoon, evening, and then the stream will get saved here on TradingView and YouTube. It should be, and then there's gonna be a replay. So again, thanks so much, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful, profitable, successful week and whatever you're doing. And we always remember, no FOMO in the market. And I'll see you next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.